Yeah, before you start, guys, let me just make this clear to both the teams. I humbly request that you make my timing easy. Okay? You know what time you're supposed to use, so use the structure of your timing very easily. If it means moving with a watch and you time yourself, please do. Okay? Introduce yourself when you're starting a speech. I think that's...
My name is Raima Muhammad. I'll be the first Rana Muhammad. I'll be the first African to speak.
Pardon?
Raima.
No, proceed. They'll write it for me. Proceed.
I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Hello. In an absence of a strong criminal justice system, what should we do as a society to prevent crimes against women? We need to seek for power now. That's what we go for as side affirmative. 3 things I'm going to do in my case today. A, characterization of the debate. B, why do we support the motion? C, what is the stakeholder analysis? And finally, our principal justification. But to start off, characterization of the debate. What do these extremely feminist approaches look like? It basically looks like radical feminism, like me-to-me movement, or like violence options, or it can actually look like cancel culture. So here basically oppression of women is actually identified as an inequality, and it's identified as a disease, and it is a system that carries many forms and it can come in many versions. Now, what is the problem this debate is trying to seek, and what does status quo actually look like in this case today? Status quo looks like how women actually genderly discriminated. Basically, they face gender inequalities. They are marginalized in the workspace. Males are given more representation in the political sphere. This is what status quo look like. Now, how does this actually come about? A, gender stereotypes in conservative communities or different communities where they believe women are inferior to men. Or B, objectifying the female gender in very various forms, like in movies or such things. So basically, this is what it looks like. Now, what is the significance of this problem if it's not removed from society, or if this is not changed over society? A, women are actually going to be limited. Henceforth, they won't actually be able to develop themselves in the work sphere. B, women in many instances are used as means to ends if these problems are not solved. Henceforth, they can't advance themselves as a female gender. C, there is less representation of women, meaning that they cannot achieve their goals to advance their causes. Now, first of all, what does our model that we support in this debate look like? Basically, in our debate, we support radical feminism. Our policy is like misandry. It's a radical feminist approach that includes cancel culture, like where a person is criticized by the internet. Or B, it can include different forms of violence. That's what our model looks like. How will it actually be implemented? It will be implemented through feminist movements. And we guess that this feminist movement actually already have the funding to fund themselves. So there shouldn't be any argument coming about funding in this debate today. Now, moving on to the case we have today, why is it actually justified to carry this out, to take these radical feminist approaches? A, there are previous injustices on the female gender. That is to say, women for far too long have been marginalized. They have been objectified. You then see on current status quo, we see for every 4 men in a corporate business, there is only 1 woman. Basically, this is an injustice. Women are not equally represented. We need a way forward. And given the fact that B, my second point, many people, like men, we have tried very many options. We have tried movements, feminist movements. They have been working on status quo. We have seen movements taking place. We have seen personalities trying to advance the feminist causes. But it hasn't worked out, given the fact that A, the males are the dominant in the society, so basically they are perceived to be better, and like they have more money than the females in the society, so this cannot be advanced. Given the fact that it hasn't been actually advanced, we need a way forward. We need a strong way forward to help uplift these women's views. Moving on, for every crime deserves an equal punishment. We believe that at a point in time where these females actually come out to fight, you have actually created injustice to them, this discrimination, this inequality. You know that it is wrong, but you have committed it. So you need to be held captive of all your crimes. That's why I rest my case by saying that we have won this debate because we give to you the better alternative to solve all inequalities in society today. Thank you very much.
So you spoke of You spoke of empowering the NGOs. You spoke of NGOs already having the money, right?
I didn't speak of NGOs having the money. I spoke of feminist movements having the money, given the fact that A, they are funded by different organizations.
Okay, have
B,
they been in place?
Yes, they have been in place and they haven't been working. That's why we're taking up radical feminism.
So, by extremitizing feminist approach, are you really solving gender inequality?
Yes.
What is gender inequality?
Gender inequality is a sense where women, there is less representation of a certain class in our community, of a certain group of genders in our community. They are less represented.
Are you trying to promote gender equality?
Yes.
Yes.
We ask them, the problem is gender equality, you agree, don't you? And then we ask you, by going extreme, aren't you creating another problem? You doubt yourself. No. I want to show to you, my judge, that here, this is the current situation of the women. This is the extreme measures that they want to take. If they are to do this, they take the women higher, they take the men lower. So the men are going to feel the discrimination, the women are going to feel the upper hand. And then yet what we want is, we want that balance. We want it to be the same. We want it to be at the same level. We don't want any other problems. That's why we are here to tell you that instead of going extreme, go slow, go steady. Try and build it from down. Try and say that instead of going extreme, let's start by maybe sensitizing them. Let's start by maybe trying to involve the men in getting the equality for the women, because the men are the ones who they imply as the people who are going against the women. Now, you come and say that the women are not represented. Come on, where are the women MPs? The women are not represented. How many people are in the office of the president? There's the vice president, she's a woman. Prime minister, woman. The former speaker, she was a woman. Now you come and say the women are not represented. There is actually nothing that you're talking about there. Now you come here as the affirmatives and you say that your main problem is gender inequality. Yes. But then how are you creating gender equality? By just simply increasing the fire in the gender equality aspect, yet going extreme is not really the solution right now. We come and tell that to solve the problem of gender inequality, let's try and solve it from down. Let's go slow. Let's try and oppose the sexual objectification. Let's raise public awareness. Let's try and involve men in getting equality for the women. Let's try and give equal opportunities to the women. Let's say that you involve the men. The men are the ones who you blame for the gender inequality, don't you? So if you are to involve the men, they'll realize their mistake. They'll take it as a bandwagon. They'll take it as maybe we can try this slowly. Because if you're to take the extreme, now you come and say that instead of going slow, let's talk of violence. Violence? Seriously? Since when does violence solve a problem? Since when does hitting someone solve a problem? Since when, my dear judge, does burning down a house solve a problem, my dear judge? Since when has going to the violent side of things, being violent, and my dear judge, they come and say violence is a solution to gender inequality. Seriously. Burning down a house, burning down parliament, throwing away the furniture in the parliament building. Seriously. Is that really solving a problem of gender inequality? You come here and say that the women are limited. No. The women have limited opportunities. No. At least the women, they have been trying to give them the opportunities, and it's been working so far. If you were to meet Uganda in the 20th century, you wouldn't find a woman being a construction worker. You wouldn't find a woman in an electoral post. You wouldn't find a woman in the political office. But right now, because of the slow movement, however much it's slow, it's better. You're causing violence, my dear judge. You're trying to insinuate something that will lead to a bigger problem. That is not the solution, my dear judge. We are trying to build something slowly, which is why we are saying that instead of going extreme, instead of doing something that we shall regret in future, let's try and continue with what we have been doing so far. The feminist movements, they have been working. We see their success. You girls, you're being empowered. The Prime Minister, she's empowered. Jessica Lupo, she's empowered. Rebecca Kadaga, she's an empowered woman. And that's not because of the extreme measures. have shown you the extreme measures will only make the men feel like they are being degraded just for the women to be satisfied. The extreme measures will make it feel like the women are now the bigger men and the men are being taken as lower. It will make it feel like the gender equality has gone from the women's side to the men's side. It will make it feel like I'm forced to clean her shoes just because I'm a man and just because you're a woman. Instead of going extreme, let's take it slow. Let's be humble. Let's continue with what you have been doing. Instead of violence, let's involve the men. Instead of violence, let's try and oppose the sexual objectification. Instead of the violence, let's try and bring public awareness, because that's how it's been working so far. It's been successful, however slow it is, that's how it has been working. So my dear judge, I'm here to tell the affirmers that the extreme measures right now are not necessary. We have seen the success. We have seen that we have been able to reduce the inequality. Not stop it completely, but we are reducing it. The extreme measures are going to cause a problem. And after that problem, they literally don't know what they're going to do. So by going extreme, we are creating another problem. And we are saying that instead of creating another problem, let's try and solve the problem that we have right now, which is gender inequality. However slow, we shall go. I rest my case, my dear.
Status quo has failed? Yes or no? Okay. 2. Do you believe women living in a patriarchal society have failed to achieve their aim of equality?
Women living
in a patriarchal society.
Could you rephrase that?
Do you believe women living in a male-dominated society have failed to achieve their aim of equality?
There is no male-dominated society.
3. How is your model different from status quo? How is your model different from status quo?
We are trying to maintain the status quo.
4. How long will you take to actually achieve success?
You haven't given us a time for how do you expect us to do it.
Do you agree that in the meantime, women will still be abused, raped, and objectified as you take long to achieve your success?
That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to stop that.
Speech in 3, 2, 1. Panel, it is depressing to see that the model opposition opts for is not only slow, but in the process, if it actually works, women are going to continue suffering, they're going to continue being raped, marginalized, because they want a slow, ineffective method. 2 things I'm going to do in my speech. Firstly, I'm going to rebut what they said and give you why our policy is justified and its effectiveness, right? Let us first go to their main policy. 1, they say they want it to go slow and steady, right? How they want to sensitize the men. Panel, what is the difference between them and status quo? Already in status quo, these things already exist, i.e. the sensitization they talk about and everything already exists in status quo. The only problem is, even when they are model whatever, there is still gender inequality. We would not be debating this motion if there was no gender inequality. Their model is already taking place and nothing is being solved. And panel, not that the motion says in a world, allow me to give you a characteristic, right? It clearly says in a world. That means there is a pandemic of oppression of women. That means men are the ones carrying it out. They already know that what they are doing is wrong. In fact, they want to sensitize men and they want to involve the men because they don't know what they are doing. They do not know that raping a woman is wrong according to them. They do not know that giving women bad jobs or beating them up is wrong according to them. So they want to involve the men. But these men are basically the ones involved. You cannot come, they need to come to us that men at their big age do not know what they are doing is wrong, right? They come and tell us, oh, they're not involved in this, so when they're involved, they'll do whatever they want and probably help in this sort of equality. This clearly does not work, because at the end of the day, we're trying to fight the men carrying it out. They already know it's wrong, and because of their ego and their dominance, they choose not to listen, right? What is the effectiveness? Panel, we told you, in order to solve gender inequality, that is to say, there is already a balance. Men are all the way up there and women are down. Already their policy has completely failed, as we gave you a characterization in the first speech. What we want to do is bring women up here at any cost, because they are being oppressed. These women are being raped. You cannot compare lives and what, even if they were actually correct, their policy is clearly so, and at the end of the day, it will not achieve anything, right? We want to bring women to an equal level, because at the moment they are completely down. What did we give you? Came and give you cancel culture, right? What does this do? Cancel culture clearly uses the internet. What does the internet, and note that the internet is viewed by a high population of people. What is the impact of this? Firstly, the moment women go and report their problems, right? Go on the internet and show the problems that they're actually facing, right? And we feel then it's going to ashame these men, right, and promote deterrence, right? Because at the moment this woman is going to go, oh, these men in this district are actually rapists, something like that. It's going to promote a deterrence mechanism. These men will be exposed, and when they are exposed, we at least get rid of men who depress women, right? Secondly, even so, because it's cancel culture, it's going to create awareness how other bodies are going to come and see, oh, this and these women are being oppressed. How is this beneficial? Firstly, we feel that if people are actually aware, we can get other bodies involved that will actually help these women fight. First of all, these women are already marginalized. All the men in power, they basically have nothing to do about it. They come and say, oh, they're already women being represented. What if you read since status quo now, look at the number of presidents. You only find like 5 women to 100 presidents. Right? These people are basically talking about 3 women they see compared to the hundreds of women. Even they contradict themselves. This guy comes and tells us, oh, they're already in power, but he's the same guy who comes and says women need equal representation. That is exactly what we want to do, verbally quoting from his speech. Secondly, we come and tell you violence. They come and tell us, oh, violence is not the answer, it's going to cause worse problems. Which worse problems? We don't even know, because first of all, it is justified. We come and tell you these women have been raped, they have been abused. Basically, they have already been, they are just there. They have been treated as objects. So even if they come and use violence to actually gain their rights, we feel it's justified. Nothing has worked for them. First, justification. Secondly, even if it was violence and it was bad and probably chaos would come up, we feel then that is a good thing. How? Because at the moment where there's so much chaos, bodies are going to come in and try to see what is happening in this country. Why is there so much violence, right? How is this impactful? Firstly, laws will be strengthened against gender inequality. Now that we have other bodies, we feel then they'll try to strengthen laws against gender inequality, right? Because people are now going to see that, oh, well, this area has so much violence, right? Women inequality. So we're going to attract other figures who are going to try the violence issue. Impacts of this, at the end of the day, we achieve gender equality, right? Even when women panel, they come and assume, oh, women are going to go up there and men be down. No, panel, that is really not relevant in this debate. At the moment, we are trying to show, we are trying to firstly tell you, these women have been oppressed, we are justifying them. They have been oppressed, they have been marginalized. So even when they go up, it is okay. They have basically been marginalized. But panel, not that this society is not exactly balanced. So there is no way, because at the end of the day, even when we carry this up, literally, men will still be dominant to some extent, right? The dominance, male dominance to some extent, natural. But on our side of the house, we at least pull women up to that extent. Even when they go up, it is still okay. At the end of the day, we want to stop this mistreated of women at a faster rate. Proud to propose. Good afternoon.
How do you define gender equality, gender inequality?
Gender inequality. Basically, there is a very big balance.
It's just a definition, just simple terms.
Yes, I'm explaining. There is a very
simple
big.
terms. Don't explain. Just simple terms.
But I'm explaining. There is a very big balance between women and men, an extreme balance.
Thank you. Is rape being an extreme balance?
Rape.
Yes. Is that an extreme balance?
Yes, it is part of
Excuse me.
Gender inequality.
Please.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with chaos in your country?
If the case is to achieve something good, yes. If the case is to achieve something good, yes.
You say men will still be dominant. If men will still be dominant, then what's your point?
I said men will still be dominant at some extent,
then what's your point?
No, I said men will be dominant at some extent, but at least we raise the number of women.
Has it been effective, however slow it is?
Has it been effective? No, your side has not been effective at all. We'll not be debating this motion.
You're contradicting yourself.
How?
Are you a girl?
Yes.
Were girls allowed to study in schools 100 years back, in boys' schools 100 years back?
We were not there 100 years back, so how would we know?
Is that being unfair or unequal?
Unfair and equal?
If the girls were not allowed to study?
Both.
Both what?
Both being unfair and unequal.
You? That's it.
And tell us that the problems in the resolution are oppression of women and gender inequality. They give us gender inequality, oppression of women, and objectification of women. So if we introduce this extreme feminist approach, that means in 10 years to come, after you have put your policy in place, that means the problems affecting women today will be affecting men tomorrow. That means we shall have oppression of men, gender inequality. Basically, you're the side of men. sexual objectification. On the side of men, they even say themselves that they'll expose the men. How equal is that? Or how fair is that? They said when these women come out, they'll misandrize. They'll talk ill about men, expose the men. Then how equal is that in terms of gender? That is being unfair to the men again. That means you're trying to seize fire with fire. You're just adding fire to fire. You're not solving any problem in the society, no. You're taking women higher than men. It is like they're defining the resolution as taking this house considers women as higher than men. They're not debating how to equate women with men. No. How to take women above men. That is what they're after. But is that equality? No. We can only have gender equality. They talk about the status quo not working 100 years ago, or less, just an assumption. We do not believe there was any woman in any big office. Today we do. The speaker, former speaker, was a woman. The prime minister today is a woman. That means that even though it is a gradual process, it works. Let us involve more men in fighting against gender-based discrimination on the side of women. Because now, if a man is talking to a fellow man, they can understand better. Instead of coming in to bring in more violence, which is another problem. Because we do not expect men to be underlooked, men to be discriminated by women, men to be exposed by women, ashamed and embarrassed by women, and you expect them to keep quiet about that. Of course, they'll also have to come and fight back. That means we shall also have to introduce another policy to fight against that. Will that be a solution in society? The answer is no, and they know it. The only solution to this is equating, and how are you going to do it? We've already started. It is gradual. Patience pains, but it pays. What about violence? That means both women and men, vandalization of their property. Then how equal is that? How harmonious will that society be? Panel, we are not here to make a difference or to rise women above men. We are here to equate them, to narrow that gap, to fight against the problems they gave in the status quo. That is oppression. Oppression is not only on the side of women. We just need to get these men to agree, to realize their mistake. Because some of these men are doing it even without knowing they're doing it. So if we come and sensitize, if we come and make the men lead, if other men see from their fellows that we are fighting the problem, if other men come out and fight it with other men, they join hands with the women to fight against this discrimination. That will bring harmony and the equality that we are all fighting for. They will be equal in terms of gender. That means no man will underlook a woman. That is what we want. We do not want to rise the women above men. No, we want to make them equal. That is what gender equality means. To make a woman not feel smaller than a man. To make a man feel like a woman is equally as important. So they come and tell us that they're going to ashame men. They're going to come and expose the actions of the men, which is obviously not right. Because men, in these feminist organizations that we have today, there are men that are actually fighting for women's rights. So if you come and commit misandry, as an example they gave, for extreme feminist approach. That means even if you come and hate speech the men, if you come and be like all men are dogs, what about the lawyer that is fighting for the women? Is that also a dog? Do you fight with dogs? Obviously not. That means we shall not be having equality. But if we make the men realize, if we make the men tell their fellow men that what we are doing is actually wrong, then we shall have the equality. We shall have that equal world that we are all fighting for here. Thank you.
at a point in time where status quo has failed, do you see any other alternative?
It is low, but
do you think that it is justified for women to keep being marginalized in a male-dominated society?
That is why we say there's gender inequality.
Is it bad to expose a person who has killed people, who has raped people? Is it bad to expose them?
How about you give them a second chance?
How long has it taken your world to advance? That, given the fact that you want status quo, how long has it taken for it to advance?
We see results don't go that gradually.
How will you involve men in this feminist movement, yet they think that they are better than these women? How are you going to involve them?
We've already seen lawyers who are men and they're fighting for women's rights.
Does it lie in your hands to tell that woman who has been raped more than 10 times to just keep quiet and not to fight back for herself?
Yeah, where it ashames them in a way.
How does the men know that it is bad to rape women or to discriminate the female gender? How do they know that it is bad?
If you talk to someone in a calm way, they'll understand.
Do you know that it is? Do you understand that it is only one man who has been the person who has actually been discriminating is the one who actually is hate.
And it is one man that rapes a woman, and all men will get exposed. How fair is that?
According to you, the men in your world do not know what is bad and what is right.
We all commit mistakes.
If someone rapes women, don't you think that it is justified to shame them?
How about you?
If you are raped, don't you think that it is justified to get your perpetua?
Without violence, courts exist.
Do you think that it is justified for these men to get away with the crimes that they have been committing?
Courts decide. The law is not
At a point in time where the criminal justice system has failed to solve this problem, even on current status quo, give us a way that they are going to solve it.
How is it justified for you to commit?
Advance for us a model that they are going to solve it.
Status quo.
You want to use the men who oppress the women when they oppress the women to help the women.
My point exactly. You generalize men.
Thank you very much. Start myself. 3, 2, 1. Panel, this debate is about which side achieves gender equality faster in a more sustainable state on a large scale. On opposition's second speaker claims, pursuing justice for men who have committed crime is against women isn't fair. They already fall out of this debate. Two things to note before I go to the major points of clash in this debate. First, second speaker claims women don't live in a male-dominated society when I ask them a question. But do not panel that the motion clearly states in a world characterized by gender inequality. Two, following that, they also go ahead and tell us, you know what? Women are already represented in these areas. We already tell you, panel, that this is already a motion whereby the world is already characterized by gender inequality. But then also my first speaker comes and claims that if these women were actually represented, panel, we wouldn't even be having this debate in the first place, i.e. the criminal justice system would already be working. We wouldn't be having women who are being raped, who are being denied education, who can't even walk alone at night for the fear of actually being harmed. Two major points of clash in this debate. One, the justification, or where they tell us that violence doesn't actually solve the issue. Four things. One, we also give you an alternative of cancel culture, whereby, quote me right, panel, we are going to cancel the men who actually committed the crime. Don't follow our second speaker tells us, we're going to shame every single man. That is not what we said. We said we are going to shame the very men who did it. But also, two, we say that violence creates a psychological empowerment for actual weak women. I.e., if I'm too weak to actually stand up for my rights, when I said that so many women standing up to go violent against the people who actually committed the crime against us, I also get a bit of psychological empowerment to actually voice out my story at the end of the day. But also, three, we actually create an urgency for change. I.e., when there's violence, we actually get help from outside. Given that TV is obviously want to depict things that will actually get them higher ratings, things like violence, they are more likely to publish this outside to the public. Well, at the end of the day, people like bodies who actually even have powers and incentives to actually help, actually come and help us out at the end of the day. Compared to their status quo, whereby, we're going to go steady and we're going to go slowly, whereby even currently in status quo, women are still suffering. On our side of the house, we get change actually faster because we even get help from outside bodies. But also, three, we tell that there's a deterrence effect. Panel, do know that even when we opt for violence, men are already going to be having a deterrence effect. I.e., I'm less likely to rape someone because I do not want to be killed. So by the time they come and tell us, we're going to be killing everyone, it doesn't reach that point because there's already a deterrence effect that's going to be created. Four, we tell you that men deserve an equal punishment for wrong that have been done, given that the criminal justice system has already failed them. My first speaker tells you we are opting for this because the motion clearly says the world is characterized by gender inequality. I.e., the criminal justice system has already failed the vast majority of these women to actually pursue justice. Men actually deserve an equal punishment for what they have done. We do not say we are going to actually go and harm innocent men. No, do quote me right. We said we are going to harm the exact men or the exact people that actually harmed these women. At the end of the day, we feel like it's just unfair to actually pursue justice for the men that actually caused these women wrong. I.e., if I come and kill your mother, you obviously do want justice. You're not going to give me a second chance. That doesn't even sound plausible. Two, on the effects.
They tell us, oh, men are going to feel discriminated to a point whereby we'll have to introduce a policy to fight against men later. Three things I have to say about this. One, men are already more powerful in certain factors, i.e. given in their physique and so many things. They're already more powerful than women. It's very unlikely that a man is going to bend down to clean a woman's shoe. But then also two, in no way do they give us analysis as to how this comes about. We give that, oh, they do not tell us how radicalization at the end of the day is going to make men feel discriminated. It just doesn't sound right. But even if you do not buy those two things that I say, I tell you sadly that even if it does happen, even if women become more powerful than men in the society, why are men still not going to be harmed? Because women have already faced injustice, they have already seen what kind of things men can actually do to them. They know very well that men have a sort of pride, whereby if you attack their pride, they are more likely to fight back, as they say. On our side of the house, women are less likely to actually pursue hurting these men's pride. They are less likely to actually hurt these men to a point whereby the men will actually retaliate, because we already have past examples, because we've already gone through so many of these things. Panel. On our side, opposition policy works more because opposition's policy works because, and as it works, more women are raped, more women are succumbed to male privilege, beaten in conservative societies, and girls are forced into marriage instead of actually obtaining education. On their side of the house, because they have failed to understand that women deserve rights as well, they automatically fall out of this debate. Thank you.
One wise man once said that if you rush, you crash. Our dear judges, now in today's resolution, we are basically clashing on the solution. Now, they come on and say that they are going to create feminists. Our first question was that what is the problem in the resolution? They talk of gender inequality. Then we ask them, is gender equality a solution to the problem? They agree that yes, it is a solution. Now they go on and say that actually now they are trying to create, they are going to increase gender feminists. Now our question was that, are you trying to solve a problem, or you're actually trying to create another problem, even which is worse? Now they agree that there is we thank them that they agree that there is a problem in our today's resolution. But now the problem where they lose out is that they don't know how to solve. Instead, they are worsening the current situation. We should not worsen the current situation. We should now look at equality. We majorly come on in today's resolution and discover that the problem in our today's debate, it is gender inequality. And if there's a problem, then we are looking for a solution to that, right? They agree to that. Now, what is the best solution that we came up with? We came up with gender equality. How are we going to make all these people that are being affected and those that are affected become equal? Now, first of all, we come up with one of the best solutions. We come up with saying that we are going to involve the men. Now, she clearly told you that who are those people that are actually carrying out that gender inequality. Of course, they are the men. Now, if you decide to do your own thing and leave out the people that are being involved, what are you doing? You're doing nothing. But now we want to involve these people and show them that actually, if we involve these people in creating the gender equality, the solution is coming. So they fail on that. Now, another thing that we come up with, we show them that slow and steadiness, it is the best solution. They come up and say that our process is slow, but our dear judge, we trust the process. We have been from back and now we are going ahead. Our first speaker asked them a question, and he was like, were girls being educated 100 years back? Of course, we all know that no. And what's happening currently? Currently, they are also in school. We trust the process. We know what we are doing. We trust the process. They should trust the process also. Then another major point that we aim at, we come up and say that we are maintaining the status quo. What is the current status quo? Now we are trying to solve the problem, right? Now if we worsen the current situation, what is going to happen? We are not solving any problem. We are worsening the problem. They come up and say that some of their best solution. We don't just understand. They just come and say that they are going to carry out violence. Our dear judges, we are trying to solve one problem, and now they are bringing another problem. We are trying to solve a problem of gender inequality by creating equality. They now say that actually, apart from stopping on feminists and increasing the problem, we even want to carry out violence and lead. Now, my question is, what is involved in violence? Actually, violence will will take both lives of men and women. Is there now who is going to enjoy the equality? None, because all these people are going to lose out. Therefore, we do not agree to the solution of violence because this is creating more problem. Let us solve the problem that is there. Now they come up and say that actually that they come up with issues of like violence, which I've totally talked about. They come up with issues of saying that with violence, there's going to be exposure. People know that hey, in the other country, the women are like conflicting. But now, a person who understands will clearly say that now these women, instead of coming up and creating gender equality, now they have decided even to kill the men that are there. Even them that are being involved. That is nothing. We should solve the problem in our today's resolution. They go on. They go on and speak of something like women. Currently, that women are very low. Now, what is the problem? Inequality. We want to bring them at a level. He clearly showed using an example of water. We want to bring them at a level whereby they are equal. We do not want to see that. We don't want to see somebody who has been currently down now taking this one and now causing another problem. They come up and give. They even know the problems in the society. They talk of problems like oppression of women. Now, if we solve that problem of oppression of women and make it even worse, go beyond the boundary, what is the problem that is going to develop? We are now going to have oppression of men. Are we solving any problem? They say that one of the problems we are having objectification of women. Now, if we extremitize it, if we make it worse, tomorrow what shall we be having? Of course, we are going to be having objectification of women. Are we solving anything? No. Now, in order to solve those problems properly, let us create equality. Of course, these problems will go, and there will be no cases whereby a woman now is less, but a man is being hurt. That issue won't be there. Of course, we went on and asked them very many questions. We went on and asked them, is extremitizing feminist approach, is it the best solution? They keep quiet. In the first resolution, they keep quiet. But then they go on and their second speaker now comes up and says that actually we are going to extremitize feminists, but our question all around was, is that a solution? They have totally failed to answer that question, the problem in the resolution. Now they go on. And talk of They go on and talk of something like hurting the men that have committed the crimes. So they want to pick up the people that have hurt these people, and then hurt the people that hurt. What's that? Actually, that is nothing. Instead of hurting these people that actually hurt the women, what should we do? She told you that there is an option of a second chance. And what is the second chance to bring about these people? And what she talked about, it's going to create equality between these people. The problem is going to be solved. They should clearly understand that since they clearly understand that there is a problem in the solution, they should have clearly come up with issues. Actually, our today's resolution was talking about feminitizing women. Okay, allow me to raise my case.